Coming up next, from San Fran Freak Show, The Savage Nation, from Talk 910 KNEW.
Borders, language, and culture, you care about these things. I tell you why they're important. The Savage Nation, weekdays 3 till 7 on Talk 910 KNEW.
Warning. The Michael Savage Show contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation. Here is Michael Savage.
Not having been there and not seeing all the facts, what role race played in that. But I think it's fair to say, number one, any of us would be pretty angry. Number two, that the Cambridge police acted stupidly in arresting somebody when there was already proof that they were in their own home. And number three, what I think we know separate and apart from this incident is that there is a long history in this country of African Americans.
Up right there. First of all, you all heard about this by now, and we are all asking a few questions. And we're going to read the police report on the Savage Nation and let you decide. I was not there. Obama was not there, but he took the side of his friend, Henry Louis Gates, Jr., and I was not there, and I'm going to take the side of the white police officer. Okay, let's go into this with our biases. Let's go into this with our biases exposed. Now, the reason I'm taking the side of this officer is because, number one, I'm aware of the game that guys like Henry Gates Jr. have been playing their whole life. I am a victim of the guys like Henry Gates Jr., second and third-rate scholars who got to the top of the heap simply based upon race and screaming race in a crowded nation. So I'm not on his side. That's number one. And for Obama to start talking now about minorities are detained disproportionately to whites, is Obama implying he's a victim too? Is Obama implying he's also a victim? Is he going to continue to play that game? I know that he got very far, so far in his life using that card, the race card. Make no mistake about it, we have a president that has played the race card from day one. That's why he's president. But that doesn't mean he's going to get away with it now in this case. I have before you the police report. And the reason I'm going to read it is because the Boston newspapers have dropped it from their website. And the reason they dropped it from the website is because it makes Henry Louis Gates Jr. look like a damn ass, a troublemaking man. And so we'll read that in the Savage Nation. We're going to talk about the Sergeant James Crowley of the Cambridge Police, who refuses to apologize. He's the officer who arrested Harvard Prof. Henry Gates. And the fact of the matter is for the president to say that the cops acted stupidly and then have his flack later on say that the cops didn't act stupidly, when even Bill Cosby is coming out and saying he's shocked at Obama's statement, is pretty much revealing. Fact of the matter is, there should be no criticism of the Cambridge police. We have the full arrest report. You'll listen to it, and you will decide whether it's Gates Jr. who should be apologizing or the police officer who should be apologizing. With regard to my own case, I'm going to insert something right here. I just learned minutes ago that Saturday night in England, actually, it'll be Sunday morning in England and very late Saturday night here. A major London newspaper is going to be releasing a major new blockbuster story. It's going to set the world on its axis. I'm telling you right now, what we found in that discovery report about who, what, when in the English government did this to me and why they singled me out, who else may be on the list, and why O'Reilly, Hannity, and Limbaugh are going to have egg all over their face, in my opinion. It's all going to come out over the weekend. So be very, pay close attention to michaelsavage.com, because we're going to link the story up the minute it comes out. I don't think I'm going to sleep that night. And you're going to see that I am an innocent man. You're going to see that you should have been on my side. You're going to see this as a liberal issue as much as a conservative issue. You're going to see that the Gordon Brown administration in the office of Jackie Smith was a fascist cell operating within a labor government. You heard me. A fascist cell operating within a labor government. There's good news. The good news is that Obama's socialist juggernaut has been stopped. It's dead in the water. Harry Reid announced today that he does not have the votes in the Senate to go forward, and they are going to hold off on the health care vote in the Senate until the fall. The Obama juggernaut has been stopped. The dreadnought is dead in the water. The engines are not running. It's over. Because the longer we the people have, to read the report, the more graft and corruption we are going to find within it. And consequently, Obama's juggernaut, his dreadnought, the SS Obama, is dead in the water right now. And I think that this is very good for you to know. Very important for you to know that Obama is not infallible. You understand what I just said to you? This guy's been acting as though he's an emperor. He could do no wrong. And he's going to jam this agenda down our throats, whether we like it or not, with a little help from his friend Rahm Emanuel and whatever that guy's name is from New York, that guy with the mustache who I always forget. Because I know who it is. He reminds me of a guy my father knew who raised money for the UJA, who made my flesh crawl, okay? I don't remember him by any other name. And speaking of the UJA, have you heard the story about the rabbis involved in the money laundering in New Jersey? Oh, my God. And Orthodox Jews, no less. Now, this is not to say all Orthodox Jews are involved in rackets, but let me tell you something. We've seen enough of the reverends and preachers marched in over the years with the scamming and the hookers and this and that. Well, guess what? What goes around comes around, and graft and corruption are not limited to any religion. And there are no religions that are above the law. And to use your religion while scamming for the mafia is a double insult to God. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to hide the gelt underneath your pelt, then you should get a double dose of jail as far as I'm concerned. If you use your pelt to hide your gelt, then you really got to understand that the people are going to be doubly angry at you. Do you understand this or not? I hope you do, because we're going to talk about that. To buy organs in Israel for $10,000 and sell them for $160,000, can you believe this? Can you believe this? They paid some poor immigrants in Israel $10,000 for an organ, and then they smuggled them into the U.S. with false paperwork saying they were relatives of the recipient, and they charged the recipient $160,000, which, by the way, the recipient probably wasn't paying. I can guarantee you as I sit here that it was Medicare, Medicaid that was paying for it. I guarantee it was Uncle Schmuck paying for it. As sure as I'm sitting here, it was Uncle Schmuck paying for the $160,000 for the kidney. And they did it in ways that were biblical in proportion of the corruption and greed. So as I say, look, you got to look this in the eye. You say, well, what does this have to do with rabbis? Nothing. It has to do with these rabbis. You understand? It has to do with these rabbis. And I'm not going to go light on them. I'm going to go heavier on them. They're going to get a double dollop of my contempt. A double. It's bad enough when somebody who's not religious does a thing like this. You understand? And if they hide the gelt beneath the pelt, well, let me tell you something. We're going to talk about it. We're all going to yelp, because that's the way it should be. We the people. Okay? God must know they steal the dough. Not all Jews are simple schmoes. They bend the knee to the Almighty, and at night they laugh tee-hee. That's a little couplet I wrote for myself today. God must know they steal the dough. Not all Jews are simple schmoes. They bend the knee to the Almighty, and at night they laugh tee-hee. Organ? What organ? I don't know about organ. I don't go in the church, so what do I know about an organ? Organ is in church. We don't go in church. Church is where the organs. Sir, we are talking about kidneys, organs. I told you I don't know from organ. I don't know organ. Organ is in the church. What do you want from me in an organ? I just know that the defense attorney is going to talk about the Holocaust. The defense attorney is going to talk about how they're oppressed. The defense attorney's not going to talk about the case and the corruption. They're going to try and turn the argument. The same way that Obama is a jive artist who tried to already talk about Henry Louis Gates Jr. was picked on and that all minorities are detained disproportionately. That's because they commit more crimes. What do you mean they're detained disproportionately? That's like saying that talking about immigrants is racist because most of them are not white. Oh, well, then I guess we shouldn't talk about illegal immigration because we're liable to be racist. Yeah, sure, I'll stop talking about it. Yeah, I'll stop talking about it. If 100% of the illegal immigrants, or let's say 99.9% of illegal immigrants are not white, and you're talking about them, can you be accused of racism? Sure, if you're Obama. And if you're the Democrats trying to screw the American people, you can use the race card. The same way he used this jive lie that we must recognize the minorities are detained disproportionately to whites. Sure, it's a fact because minorities commit more crimes disproportionate to their race than do whites.